Hello, I'm Alexander the OK, and welcome to episode 27 of my look at the Japanese tech tree in War Thunder. Today I'll be looking at the model 22 and 22 Co of the A6M3 rather. In this first match I'm flying the model 22. Basically this is an attempt by the Japanese to fix the issues they had with the A6M3. This is notably that the M3, while technically an improvement over the M2, lost a lot of its strategic capability with its very much reduced range. This is because of the redesigned wing they gave the A6M3. The Model 22, as you can see, has reintroduced a much larger wing with a folding wingtip. It also increased the size of the wing fuel tanks and also allowed for the carrying of larger drop tanks. This basically fixed the problem with the range of the M3, and was a substantially more successful aircraft in service, with several thousand being built rather than only a few hundred. This you can also see success in the fact that they actually made different variations of this model, notably the Mod 22 Co, which I'll be flying in the next scene. So after that early engagement with the bombers, I found myself very much at a substantially lower altitude than most of these Russian fighters as we fight out over Khalkhin Gol. Once again, there seems to be a bit of an oddity in War Thunder, with the M30s having or at least the Model 22 and the regular M3 still have the Mark 1 or Model 1 Type 99 cannons rather than the Model 2, although they still do have the increased ammo capacity. So after initially dodging that P-47, there's now these three new Soviet aircraft coming in and attacking us. So this actually turned out to be quite an intense dogfight, despite me getting a lot of kills. So I dropped down onto this LA7, who was going for my friendly zero. I'm mostly using the MGs and saving the cannon ammo for when I think I've got a bit of a better shot, although poor shooting on my part means I don't actually get any hits there, and I turn off because I can sort of sense enemy planes around me as I switch targets to this Yak 3, although this LA7's back on me, so I turn under him again. The Model 22 is a bit slower than the M3 and really suffers in its roll rate, but its sustained turn rate is substantially better. Well, not substantially better, it's actually even slightly better than the regular model, or the A6M2, the first Zero models. Quickly dodged that Yak 3. You can see the roll rate's not massively impaired, it's just not a good roll rate in comparison to the M3 or lots of the aircraft that will face. A few MG shots, I don't get baited up into the vertical there, because, well, that would be a bad idea, and as this LA7 tries to drop me, I go into a sustained turn, which helps to throw off his aim. I continue through and dive down and get back onto his 6 as he switches targets to this A7M1. I'm not... the M7 is able to dodge his shots, although I have to dodge this Yak 3 who comes in. I go up into the vertical and drop back onto the 6 of the Yak 3, although he's going a bit fast for me to catch up with him. Although this is still a much faster Zero model than the M2s. I dodge the head on with the LA7 and roll underneath him as he tries to drop on my 6. He rips a flap there, I believe, and I go up into the vertical and roll over on him to drop in on his 6. Unfortunately, I'm not able to take him out with my cannons there, as he goes after and takes out that Focke-Wulf. I'm able to get behind him, and he's simply not able to get away from me here. And there we go, I managed to take off his tail there. That's pretty much it for this battle. I return to the airfield since I'm out of cannon rounds, and the remaining Soviet fighters are taken out by my teammates. So I'll be switching over to the Model 22 Co, which does actually have the the Model 2 Type 99 cannons, which, as I said in the previous video, are, well, they're still an Orlecan type cannon, 20mm cannon, but they have a higher muzzle velocity but a lower rate of fire. So you don't actually have to lead your targets as much, which I think this is the first time you use this cannon in the Japanese tech tree, but I don't think it takes an awful lot to get used to. You see the M3s, even the ones even the Model 22 and 22 Co, still have pretty good speeds. As you can see, I'm able to do nearly 700 kilometers an hour without fearing ripping off my wings as I dive on that P-47 to take him out. And I've turned back round to take out a bomber I know is attacking our ground targets down by the river there. You can see him just there being fired at by RAA. But yes, the Model 22, it's basically the only difference in War Thunder is in the cannon armament, which is, as I said, the Model 2 cannons in for the Model 1s on the previous Zeros, but yes, I couldn't find that much information on what the actual difference is. It's probably quite minor, as with a lot of the sort of variations of Zeros, there is an awful lot of them, and a lot of the improvements, shall we say, are really quite small and wouldn't have that much of an impact. So as I dive on this PBJ, I'm going to trust that he was actually damaged enough by that friendly AA that he wasn't able to pull up there, so don't actually get the kill, and now we come to nearing the end of the battle, where it's me and this friendly C205, which is basically an MC202, but with two MG105s in the wings. It's a lot like a Kai 61 High. And we are currently facing off against 4 enemy opponents, so it's a 2v4 at the moment. There is an enemy B-25, which my friendly has called out. So I say I've got a 6, although he's Russian, so I don't think he understood me. And I go after this Typhoon instead. Although, as you can see, I'm trying not to dive too quickly, although the C205 quickly takes out, it's a Series 3 as well, which is an improvement over the Series 1 aircraft, which means the C205 is a rank 4 battle rating, rank 3 battle rating 4 aircraft. As I close in on the Tiffy, this is the top speed, like I said earlier, is fine, but a lot of planes can move a lot better than you at this sort of speed, so I don't follow him into that turn. Instead I go up, and I see that a Yak-3 has also joined the fight, so I switch targets onto this Yak-3, and I get a quick hit on him there. You see, the roll rate's not bad on the plane, it's just not as good as some other aircraft. I switch back over to the Typhoon, avoid the head-on, go up into the vertical. He turns beneath me, which allows me to drop into a 6 as he attempts to go for the C205. I use my machine guns to put rounds at the Typhoon to ensure that he breaks away from my friendly, or at least rolls and isn't able to keep shooting at him. My friendly has taken out the Yak, is able to avoid the Typhoon, and I drop onto the Typhoon 6, get a crit there, it doesn't really say what's on. I get a nice fuselage crit, and the Typhoon basically isn't able to get away from me here when I take off his tail. So that's 3 of the opponents. It's now a 2v1 with the enemy P-47 having RTB'd and is just about to take off, I believe. I'm nearly out of cannon ammo, and me and the C205 agree to go back to base. However, I'm going to cut away and cut back, so I've not actually RTB'd. We decide to turn around, or my friendly starts to turn around, so I decide not to leave him since I still have fuel and ammo with which to help him, or at least it wouldn't matter if I had ammo, I could still act as bait, which is actually what I'm going to do here. So my friendly has the altitude advantage, so I'm going to feign committing to a head-on with this P-47, which well, it's reasonably sensible for him to go on. It would mean he isn't fighting a 2-on-1 anymore. So I pull him away from my friendly, who's able to start diving on him. And as I see he's committed to me, I pull up into the vertical in order to get him, in order to decrease his speed and increase the closing speed of my friendly aircraft. See, the P-47 goes into the vertical for me, and that's a very easy kill for my C-205 front. So it's a good example of how you can use the zeros to bait. You really do need quite a bit of range though to bait with a zero, because, well, like a lot of Japanese aircraft, they still are quite flimsy. So this has been the A6M3 Mod 22 and 22 Co. They're pretty good zero variants. It's very much a return to form of the A6M2. I've worked time to be okay. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.